Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday cast of Always the Worst. And I'm Chris. Today I'm joined by Mark
That's me.
and Michael.
That's me.
Do you know what's funny? I always say I'm joined today by as if it
Yep.
changes.
As if it's your project, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I'm sorry, I need to find a better way to do intros and outros
This isn't a democracy.
and interviewing and everything in
we
between.
get Michael to write the intros and the outros. He's got the gift.
He does.
Just gifted. It's a word.
Yep.
So,
Right.
at last minute, we decided to watch Birdman because we all realised that I said I had a film lined up and I didn't. And yeah, so we watched Birdman.
Yep. I was super thankful about that.
Yeah,
come,
I mean, like,
come Wednesday.
I actually totally forgot about this film because I actually even own it. Like, I already had it on DVD or whatever, Blu-ray. I can't remember what I bought. But yeah, just like when you said that, I was like, oh fuck yeah, I love that movie. Let's watch this again.
So, Michael, I am so happy you decided to do this one. This was such a great film that I was not expecting to be what it was.
Yeah, I was just because we're trying to always stick to like stuff where we can, where it's on a streaming service like Prime or Netflix, whatever. I just flicked through it and I was like, Birdman, totally forgot about that. I really want to watch it because just hearing about it is very interesting.
Yeah,
I was so happy I watched it. Such a good film.
Was this the first time you guys have watched it then?
it is.
Yes.
Holy shit. Well, that must have been something for you then.
Oh, it was.
Oh yeah.
What an experience. I mean, so for people who are not like really familiar with this, I'll kind of give you a brief rundown of what this is about. So this is a movie where Michael Keaton plays a washed-up actor who made his name playing the titular character in a comic book movie franchise called Birdman, right? So this is about him trying to regain his popularity by putting on a play that's like a highbrow production that he believes will redeem his character and somewhat and stop people thinking of him as that washed up comic book actor. So that's pretty much it. And then things develop from there. Or
It's such a simple plot, but that's the beauty of it. Is it's so simple and it's so believable.
Yeah. It's just before we get into it, I have to say that I hate yous both for shooting down Geostorm because
Geostorm.
that film
Did we
is so bad that it's brilliant. It's not even brilliant.
did we shoot it down?
Oh.
I think it shot itself down.
I didn't go to the cinema to see that. Honest.
Well, you should have gone to the cinema to see Birdman instead, because give that your money. This film definitely needs more people to pay for it.
Oh, true. It's such a great film that honestly I didn't know anything about at all. I heard it was interesting, and that was it. I just kind of left it. It just always sat there on Netflix for me. Me just going, I'll get to it eventually. And it's always those films that turn out to be the best ones.
Yeah, because I don't think any trailer or any kind of thing could do this film justice, because the trailer can't show you the kind of the way this film is made, like that unrelenting pace where like it's like one of those one shot but not really one shot kind of films.
Yeah.
And it's all just driven by this like improv jazz soundtrack that just keeps
Oh.
drumming away through the whole thing.
So
Like
cool.
even the performances seem improv at some points as well. Like they seem like the kind of ad-libbed lines here and there to kind of
I absolutely expect they were, because that's one thing that Michael Keaton has always been known for is his improv skills.
Interesting.
90% of his lines in Beetlejuice were improv.
You can tell that in Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
says some fucked up shit that you're just like, whoa, wait, who
Oh.
scripted that?
Oh yes, but no, that was straight from Keaton's dome.
It kind of
Um,
it kind of makes sense them doing improv bits, and if they did, because there may be actors preparing to go on stage, and it just
Yeah.
their dialogue talking together is so fast paced and kind of it's like witty kind of chatting. It reminds me of a show from a bit way back when. It's kind of like a much 100 times better version of the way they would talk in Gilmore Girls, where everything was like 110 of how quick the conversations would go, because it was like a rhythm. It wasn't a conversation. It was like the jazz music. There's a rhythm to their conversation.
It's like to a beat and kind of getting somewhere, but you can still feel that kind of improvised like motion to it that is like it's like jazz, you know.
Yeah.
It's like coming up with it on the spot kind of feeling,
Mhm.
but like you know the scenario's there, but they just kind of let the actors go for it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if something
And
pops
it's
in your head, just go with it. Just freaking
yeah.
play off each other.
So it's got this really cool well for me I noticed it's a really cool kind of like idea where they kind of get the actors to play themselves.
Yes.
Like so you got Michael Keaton who was Batman and was pretty much only known to be Batman to play a character who is a washed up actor of his age who was only known for playing a superhero. And then you've got fucking Edward Norton, the biggest prick in the universe, playing the biggest prick in the universe.
Yeah.
A guy who is known for coming in and ruining productions by trying to take over the directorial role and kind of shoving his own lines into wherever he can. And
Yeah.
that's all he does in this film. It's fucking brilliant.
It is
God, do
mad.
you think he was like aware of that? He was just like, we're
I
gonna
can't
cast you to be
tell.
a prick because you're a prick.
This is the thing I want to know. I want to figure that out. If he knew he was playing himself in this
Yeah.
role or what.
I think he'll probably be that full of himself that he couldn't see past it. Because if he takes over roles and does that, he's not going to be able to see when somebody's ripping the piss out of him like that.
But one of the great things they kind of establish at the beginning of this movie is like that superhero films are still it takes place in our universe essentially, where the superhero films are still huge and that's what's the driving force. And these actors are kind of like making fun of it in a sense, but the main actors in this are all from superhero films.
Yeah.
like Edward Norton had his one chance to be in a superhero film and he did his Edward Norton thing and got thrown off. He got kicked out for being trying to take the directorial role. So yeah, it's funny as hell. Like so ironic.
Yeah. Do you know it took me about 20 minutes to realise it was a one shot happening?
Really?
Yeah,
Like,
because I wasn't paying attention to that specific part because I was so lost in the dialogue in such a lovely way. I was just like watching him talk really spoke to me.
yeah. I mean, the humor in this is so like laid back
Yeah.
and so like snappy. It just kind of like appears and you don't have a chance to kind of take in. And you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, that was fucking hilarious. Whatever the fuck they just said.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see Zach Galifianakis in a role where he's not being a madman.
Yeah.
Like
He's one of the more grounded people in it because he's trying to keep everything together. But I think
Yeah.
it shows you how good it is with like the dialogue in this film, where I completely missed the things that I tend to look out for when I watch films, and it is how is it shot, because usually that's what speaks to my emotions of like how did they make me feel this way. Where I was so engrossed with the dialogue that I didn't realize until one moment where I watched the camera turn with someone because they were setting up something else. Like I think it was when Michael Keaton was going practicing on stage and then he walks away and then he comes back and it's the night to perform, and then I went,
Right.
oh, this is one shot. And it
Yep.
clicked to me. I went, I've not seen a cut yet.
Yeah.
there's pretty much only like 2 points in the entire film that do a sort of obvious cut.
I think-
Like there's the bit where it kind of goes up to the night sky and then
Yeah.
it kind of like changes to
Yeah, it
daytime
goes
and comes
down,
back
yeah.
down, and like a couple other ones where like it just transitions into like a totally different scene. But other than that, they do it very seamlessly throughout this entire film, and the
Yeah.
pace never stops.
Oh,
No one
God,
stops to breathe. No one stops to sleep. It's just go, 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 go.
That's one of the best things that I can honestly say about this film is it's immersive.
Yes.
So immersive. You absolutely lose yourself in this film because of the way that it's shot and because of the music. Those two things combined just make you be in the film.
Like,
And
it also
it's-
gets you into his mindset, like the character of Riggin, because like you can tell that he says himself at one point he's not slept in like days, and everything in his life is kind of falling apart at this moment. Like we know he's split from his wife quite recently. He's got a girlfriend who is probably pregnant and he's not ready for it. His daughter's a drug addict who treats him like shit. You know, like all these things kind of are piling up on him, and he's just trying to balance the plates and get on with it.
Yeah, and that's where like the drums. We honestly can't say good enough words about Antonio Sanchez, who was on the
Yeah.
drums.
It's fucking insane. Yeah.
The sort of funky jazz beat going on makes it feel so erratic, which is exactly what's going on. Is everything sort of going all over the place? He can't control his actors, he can't control himself in his own life, and it just all plays together so well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like see the parts where the kind of drum beats like fade out. Like there's only like a couple of scenes where like they're not there, and
Mhm.
it's just those moments are kind of like where you realize that like he's still human. He's
Yeah.
still like a real person you should kind of like sympathize with, but it's just in those like small moments you're like, wait, where's the pressure?
Yeah.
Like you don't
Yeah.
feel it for those couple of seconds. You're there with him
Hmm.
in those moments of clarity. It's really quite cool the way they pulled all that together.
I think
Yeah.
one of the really good things about this film is how they establish a unreliable narrator in him
Yeah.
with the use of his thoughts of who he used to be,
Mhm.
which play a lot in it. It's like even in the trailers and stuff of he's a superhero. Because in the trailer you have the big scene of him rising up in the middle of the crowd and everybody seeing him.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because they play that a lot through it, where you start believing, you start going, "Is this guy
Well, yeah, because they give him like latent kind of like
psychic?"
telekinetic powers.
Yeah, the superpowers.
But that, like
But
they're just him throwing stuff around the
Yeah.
room. You can kind of get that in your head, but like you're there with him, like he's just trying to like going like, there's something great about me, and I
Yeah.
know it's within me. I can do this.
What I
and it's-
loved about that is when the only other time that someone else sees that is his daughter, who is also being put as an unreliable
Yeah, she is
because
unreliable in every sense.
yeah, so it makes you go, oh, very nicely done, because she's the only person who ever looks up. And it's that one moment, and then you're like, beautifully done, because then we never get that answer. And we know the answer, but it's nice to have that slight bit of mystery of it,
Yeah.
of it all.
Because like I mean, throughout the movie, like you see little parts of like his alter ego. Like at the beginning, it's like you hear this deep Batman voice, obviously, kind of just growling in his ear, telling him what he should be doing and how he's fucked everything up. And it just develops more and more. And as like his issues get worse and worse, we see that like it just unleashes itself almost.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like the character of Birdman himself is kind of it's kind of like an analogy for Hollywood in general. Like all these directors and actors struggling to kind of like put out a piece of art, and in the background they fucking know that all the audience wants to see is things exploding and people getting shot. And it's like that's what the Birdman character is. He's just like, "You're fucking blow something up. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be awesome."
They're basically playing to me. They're doing
Yes.
films that I want.
Yeah. It becomes that kind of meta like movie at that point where it's about like obviously the director himself thinking about the struggles of trying to make an art piece like this film and have people appreciate it, like because he even puts in the characters like the critic
Yeah.
who is like just like, I will fucking destroy your play because you are like you're just represent everything that's bad about Hollywood, bad about acting in general. Like
She has the
It's-
best line for him. It's like the best burn in it, where he keeps talking about being an actor, and he has this real emotional breakthrough of himself of like, I'm an actor, this is costing me everything. Who the fuck are you to tell me I'm not? And she's like, you're a celebrity. You're not an actor. And just
Yeah.
walks away, and I'm like, oh.
there's so many great one-liners in this as
Yeah.
well. Like that. Trying to think of my favorite one was when Naomi Watts' character, who's like what's her name again? Leslie. Yeah, Leslie. Like she plays the only actor in this entire thing who actually has a shred of like let go of her ego. Like she
Yeah.
actually still is grounded and like just wants to act in a play, and everyone else is just an egotistical shitbag. But that scene where like Edward Norton's character of Mike tries to like basically like have sex with her in the middle of the stage, right? Even though they're like, I think they're a couple, aren't they?
Yeah.
But
'cause
she's
she
just like she
said-
fucking hates him, and she's rightly so should hate him, and she's like trying to say no to it, and she gets fucking pissed off with them, and she walks back to her kind of like the makeup room, and what's this? She says again. I wrote it down because it was so fucking good. Yeah, it says like, why don't I have any self-respect? And the
Yeah.
other actress walks up and goes, "You're an actress, honey." Like, it's like, oh, it's so fucking cutting. Like,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
Do you know, I love that scene because, see, when they end up kissing, it's actually so lovely because it feels like it's the first moment both of them had someone who kind of wanted to be with them for any moment of time that's not
Yeah.
out of a status. It's like,
It's kind of like, but it also has that kind of sadness of like, they both know that they're in horrible relationships.
Yes.
And they're kind of just like, oh, someone showed me affection for 2 seconds. Let's kiss.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, is this love?
Yeah.
It's funny and heartwarming and sad all at the same time.
It's a lot of emotions run through you when you watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually just kind of breeze past the scene after Edward Norton tries it on with her, and he's just wandering about the stage with the most humongous dick in the world. And then I'm pretty sure Michael Keaton, Birdman, I can't remember his name in it, actually just punches him like properly, like
it's
no.
Reagan. He's like, like he just fucking like knocks him out for having an erection on stage.
Yeah.
It's very, very funny. Like it's I don't know. That's the art of disaster, is what this is. It's really.
Well, it's so strange because it's like, oh my god, how dare you get an erection on stage? Oh my god, you're ruining it. But it was a sex scene, so like,
it's,
you know,
it's one of those things. Like, I really appreciate the way that you can tell that they are playing actors properly, because see when they're on stage and the audience starts to laugh. Like, even though that is staged laughter, the look on their face is like, "Don't you fucking laugh at this!" Like, you can see that in their eyes. It's like, so they're doing 3 layers of acting here. It's really fucking cool.
What was your
absolute?
On you go, Michael?
Go on, Chris.
No, on you go.
Nope.
I was going to say,
it.
oh fuck! It absolutely feels like the kind of experience that some, if not all of them, have probably been through. Because a lot of actors do like the reverse. They start on stage and go to screen, but like some of them may have done that, and they've drawn from that as well.
Yeah, you can really see that. Like, not only have they drawn from their past experiences, but like they're drawing from their real life as well. It's quite brutal and amazing. Like how they just were so open to shining a light on themselves in that kind of way.
Yeah.
I think like the only character I didn't really end up liking as much was probably the one played by Emma Stone.
Yeah, I was not a fan
as
of
Sam,
that.
because like you can tell that she's determined to kind of destroy her relationship with her father intentionally, because she's trying to like attack him in the way that she felt attacked as a child. Even though like we established there's nothing really went wrong, she just didn't have that perfect family that she always dreamed of.
Yeah.
But here she is trying to do everything she can to antagonize a man who's on fucking breaking point. It just feels so shameless and horrible, self-obsessed.
Yeah, and it's the sort of the trashing him about not being relevant because he's not up to date with the likes of, you know, Facebook and Twitter and that. It's like, why make an attack out of it when you could educate?
Yeah, but I guess that means she's playing the character like really well. If we kind of don't sympathize with the character at all, we just kind of go like, oh, why you like this? I mean, it's a cry for help, but we can get that everyone else in this film is a dickhead too. But they have like a kind of glimmer of hope in them somewhere.
It's like Ed Norton's character talking to Emma Stone. It's like that's his moments where he has slight emotional vulnerability, where he opens up a bit about why he can't fool around with her even though he wants to. It's like that's his moments, and it's nice because they do it in the open air. It's almost as if he's left that perfect person who he is when he's on stage, like the elite.
In the theater.
Yeah, he actually just walks away from it, and then you find out who he is and realize that he is an insecure guy, because outside of being on stage, he can't perform as
like in the bedroom and in real life. But like, he's still a cunt.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh my god, it wasn't me that said it this time.
I didn't use it against women. He's still a cunt, but he's not as, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's a good person, but at least he has some vulnerability to him, like in some sense. Yeah.
Some of the thing I really like about this is see watching them rehearse and having the kind of like the almost like a fly in the wall of how actors actually interact with each other when they're making their scenes. Let's say when you watch Michael Keaton walk in and just sit down and jump into a scene that's already happening, because that's how it goes. They're not going to stop, and then he just picks up what he got. I thought that was really interesting just to watch, almost like a documentary moments, like the moments he has the same with Ed Norton, where it's like, no, stop reading the script, feed me something to work off of. Again, learn in the process of trying to learn filmmaking. It's just like really cool to watch. Like they've just went, this is what kind of happens on set at times.
I mean, if you think about it, like how much do we struggle trying to do a live show that's just three people sitting on a webcam, and these guys have to put together stages, clothing, and like get lines right and all that shit.
It's
and
mad.
Go do it.
Yeah, and just seeing like it just shows you the kind of level of professionalism, even if they don't look professional, of being able to do that. Like I can't even remember our outro, let alone a monologue.
One line we teach you every time.
You know, but watching them sit there and pretend to learn lines after they've learned lines to pretend to learn lines is just blows my face off. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah,
it's a crazy thing because it's just a matter of that's their gift, that's their talent. Is actors have, obviously, especially stage actors, have incredible memory because you need to. You can have someone off to the side sort of feeding you the lines every so often, but you need to know the whole thing.
And also like reactionary acting as well. Like if you can tell that someone's maybe drifting off a little bit, you can try and pull them back in using like just embodying the character for that amount of time.
Yeah. And it's, you think something like that is impossible, but everyone has their niche and their thing that they can rattle off tons of information about. For them, it's their play and their lines.
For sure.
But I'm trying to think. There's more like amazing moments in this film, like the daft scene where he gets like locked out of the theater and he's under there. And like he just improvises the whole fucking thing as he comes back in. Like
I love how he walks in that scene. He walks so proud.
Like, he's like, it's like this is like a tense neck, and he's just pure like, rah. It's like there's no attempt to cover himself.
No.
He's just like, I gotta get fucking back in there. It's like you can sense the determination in him.
But then that makes the actual scene work better because it's odd when he gets back in and he's just pointing his finger at people. Like I like when he points it in the audience and tells them to shut up. He's like, shut up. And then everybody loved it because they're like, I don't know what's going on.
But good. It really added to that scene as well. It like that, just doing that. See if he had turned up with a gun already in hand, like it's just a plastic gun, that would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, like
because it would have just been
fucking psychotic. Here I come.
Yeah, that would have just been so brilliant because it shows that this character is gone.
Yeah.
And that's why it plays so well in the film as well. The character's fucking broken.
Yeah, because we kind of realize at this point, like, the play and the movie are parallels to each other.
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of like they kind of like draw lines towards certain plot points, and we reach them bit by bit. Kind of like, so when we get to the point where like, obviously he becomes kind of fully unhinged, gets really drunk, just tries to fucking kill himself.
Yeah.
Like, there's that kind of moment where we get a good bit of dialogue where he's explaining to his wife about one of the times where he'd fucked up and he cheated on his wife, ruined their like birthday party or whatever it was, and he like explains that he tried to kill himself at that moment, and then you kind of realize like, oh, he has like a history of this sort of thing. It wasn't just like he got drunk and thought, fuck this. It's like he's always kind of felt this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's this really kind of sad realization that this is his like last ditch effort
of finding identity. Because that's what this film is. It's identity. It's transformation in who you actually are and whether you can admit to who you really are. Because everything gets put in front of them all the time of, this is who you are. Accept it or don't. There's nothing really in between here. And watching him try to figure out who he actually is he just a bad dad and a washed up actor? Is he actually someone who's worth redeeming and becoming a better person? Because a lot of it is, when he starts going unhinging, it's not even just a psychotic break, it's him realising how much of a shithead he is and trying to fix it, but he doesn't know how to. He has no idea how to change. So he went, the only thing I can do is make this play the best thing I can ever do. That'll fix my life. Not just in celebrity, but in emotionally, and rebuild the thing that he broke up in himself because of everything in his past. And it's like with a lot of them, it's all about this idea of who are you and why are you this way, and can you accept being who you are?
I mean, like he gets, it's like you see at that point though that he's kind of realized the, like, as I say, the parallels between him and the character he's playing is that he knows for a fact that his wife will never love him again the way he wants her to, because he's fucked up so much. And the same with his kind of daughter, he's lost all his kind of relationships, so he kind of just feels that the only option he's got to make things right is just to actually like kill himself for his art, and that kind of thing, like get it over with and just let everything go. But you know, in the process, he fucks up, like, because he fucks up everything in his life and just shoots his own fucking nose off. Like, it's this like a horrible thing, but it's like in a turn, it gets him exactly what he wants. But this is the beauty of this movie, is like he gets everything he wants. His wife's by his side, his daughter's there with him, his play's a success, he's going to be like a fucking multi-millionaire. But you can't just fucking cure like your depression, your mental illness, and whatever else is going on with you overnight, like by one action. It doesn't just go away. So that's what we see is like after he's trying to recover in the hospital, he's like, Birdman's still there, and he just wants to fucking go out the window. It's that kind of like sad realization that you can't fix these things.
No, they're not fixed by grand gestures, and it's a very movie thing. Like everything he does in this in this play is what movies tell us is how you fix your life. You don't get the girl that you want, a grand gesture. You're broken and you need redemption, a grand gesture, a grand adventure. It's this one cataclysmic moment in life that will fix you or break you. It's not the slow process of real life of dealing with heartache and mental illness, which takes years and years to truly, not even fix, just to understand yourself. And it plays it brilliantly because it goes, no, you don't fix yourself by getting everything you want. You fix yourself by consistency. Because this isn't consistent. This is a one-time deal. You're going to go back to your old life. And he realises that his old life isn't going to fix him. It needs to be whatever the new life going forward has to be.
Yeah. So I like the way that the kind of the ending of it obviously is just kind of open to interpretation as such, but I mean it gives you like, because I mean his daughter isn't like shocked or upset by the end of it. She seems kind of like just like bemused by what's happening. So it's kind of like you get this kind of idea that it might be some glimmer of hope for them in the future. Like, because that's the first time you see her smile like ever. Yeah.
It's almost as if that thing, obviously, once you know someone who's going through a lot, and goodness forbid when they die, you go, at least they're not in pain anymore. That has that feeling to it of you don't know how to feel, but you're kind of relieved that they're gone because their badness is ended.
Yeah, it gives you a lot to think about, which is like the right approach in this kind of film. Like, you should never give a kind of concrete answer to someone's life that is not answerable.
Yeah. That's what it does. This film sort of brings up like a lot of questions, and it sort of like leaves, I don't know, I still feel it leaves a lot of hollow stuff. But
I mean, like, what is there any kind of parts you would say you would want to have resolved necessarily, or
no? Because I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
To leave it open ended, and that's a good art. Art is subjective. Art is what you take of it.
Exactly.
And this does it so well.
And I think that's what makes films like this and a lot of other films that we've been talking about in the past however many months we've been doing this great. Even if the film itself's not good, it leaves questions where I think a lot of modern cinema doesn't give you a question. It gives you 8 tons of answers, puts a question in the middle that's already been answered, and then gives you more answers on top. They don't let
all
us
I want to know really is why did the plastic surgery turn him into Daniel Craig?
I thought it was a different actor. I honest to God, I looked it up afterwards going, oh, because I thought that was the twist, was the person he's seen in the mirror was not even who he is. And then when he gets the accident, because I thought he was going to actually be fine, I was like, this is who he really... And he's like, nope, just one hell of a...
The Daniel Craig nose like takes over the entire face.
It just shows you how much your nose makes your face, doesn't it, though? Because I honestly did not think I was Michael Keaton at the end there. I was like, who the fuck is this man?
But I feel like the only things that I'm kind of sad we don't really get more of is like the other like the actresses in the play as well. Like they don't really get any kind of like progress to their characters. They kind of just like I don't know if that's because like they're happy in their little rut or whatever we're supposed to kind of like predict or.
I do still feel like they got enough screen time in general. It was like I found them really interesting anchors to the other two because the two main actors in it, like Ed Norton and Michael Keaton, were so bonkers that I felt like you needed the other two to help anchor some kind of reality for us to show, to give an idea of what the real world might be, because and then that gives you that split of what is real, what is not. Because I found their scenes really interesting of watching them chat and try to figure out
we
life.
never really get to see what the actual relationship between Laura and Regan was.
No.
Like, I mean, they know that they potentially were going to have a child, but like, they kind of seem like neither of them really wanted to be in that relationship.
They look like they're together because they're making a play together, and it's they just both want a bit of sex on the side. That's what that genuinely looked like, and one night it got a bit too far.
Yeah, because even like there's one scene where she tries to come into his dressing room to talk to him, and we don't get that scene because his wife's in there, and she's like, "Oh fuck!" Like, well, his ex-wife, and she's like, "Okay, right, I'm out," and like, so we never get to see them kind of really communicating in that way, other than the one bit where he's getting dressed for the scene, and she's like, "Hey, we would have been terrible parents anyway. Like let's just face it."
Yeah, that was the only real indication of they were dating and not just, having sex.
Oh, she mentions that like they've been together for 2 years.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like they've been together for 2 years. It feels like they've been dating for like 2 months or something at this point.
It really
like,
does.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't believe how much I actually enjoyed this because it went past so quick for 2 hours that I can barely keep it in my head, like, of everything I've seen. I loved it from start to finish. It's like one of the few films I laughed at. I actually laughed out loud. I don't laugh at movies most of the time because I'm a dour-faced sod when it comes to films. But I laughed.
I really want to like get that line, whereas I think I wrote it down as well. Where he's actually struggling so much with like his mental health when he's talking to his daughter, and he says, I wrote it down. Where is it? God damn it.
It's not the bit where he takes the tissue paper and wipes on his mouth, is it?
Yeah, it's at that point, but it's like he says this. Oh, this is it here. He goes, "This play is starting to feel like a miniature deformed version of myself that just keeps following me around and hitting me in the balls with a tiny hammer." And you're just like, what the fuck? That's an amazing line of dialogue.
The best part of that is who he's talking to.
Yeah, like, and his daughter's just like, never mind.
I don't think he realized who he was talking to. I think he was just gone.
Yeah.
Just, like, staring in a mirror.
That very much felt like a Keaton line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really did. It did harken back to like what you were saying about like Beetlejuice in that sort of regard. Like just those kind of like he comes up with like he's so creative with insults or like kind of horrible lines. It's really good.
Yeah. There's a couple other names. So this is to me, there's so much talent both in front of and behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple other names I want to chuck out there from like behind the scenes. The director of photography, Emmanuel Lubezki, because to get all those shots is
like to actually construct it into like one seamless piece is fucking hard. Like that's taking a lot.
And Chris Harhoff, the Steadicam operator.
You son of a bitch! You pulled it off.
That was. He must have been paid well, or he must have got good steak dinner afterwards, or something, because he would have been a tired lad.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
Or woman, I don't know. Chris is an androgynous name, I think.
True. So this was the thing we would notice in the Steadicam movements. What he did really well, or she, was see when you had those scenes that just held for that the extended period of time so they could do a cut. He made sure to wobble it slightly every so often. If you notice it, the camera, even though it could just stand perfectly still, does this. Because it means that he can cut it, where when he cuts in and jumps in with the camera the next day and it wobbles or whatever for him getting out of position, you don't notice it. And it's beautifully done. Because he does it the same with the sky scenes and that. There's this slight wobble that you don't see very often.
It's like it's almost like smears,
Yeah.
like in kind of cartoons, almost like the way they kind of like they travel so
Yeah.
like in certain parts, so they can get like just enough like blurred vision, so you can cut in a new scene if you really wanted to,
Yeah,
or like edit it post. It's like so well done.
Yeah, it was such a clever small thing to do because
I really like when they use that with the fight
Yeah.
between Regan and Mike, where like he gets punched and like they're wrestling on the ground, and then all of a sudden the camera just pans to the side to look at the two other crew who are just like,
what's going on?
like, it's just fine. It's just like a split second to
Yeah.
look at them just to see how ridiculous they look from the outside.
Oh, it's so
good.
So good. I would have to say I recommend this to anybody to watch. It's like I don't even think you have to be into this style of movie to enjoy this. Actually, I feel like it does such a good job of what it's trying to deliver that anybody can watch this and enjoy it.
What I really like is like there's also parallels to that in the play itself. Like, see when it gets to the intermission on the first night, like people walk outside and they obviously came here because they saw like, oh, it's the Birdman guy. Let's go see the Birdman guys play. And they're like, I didn't really expect to like this. This is actually really fucking good. Like, did you see? Like, like, well, if this is how the first half was, what's the second half going to be like? You know, they're all really impressed by something they weren't ready for, and it's really cool.
It's very much what this film is.
Yeah.
So, I think we can put our hands up and say that we have dove into Birdman quite a bit. Wait, this feels like a Thursday video. I just want you to know that our Friday ones are maybe rip the piss a lot more, but this went into.
No, but it's too good.
Yeah, it's too good to make fun of, right? So, what I've got, because I knew this was coming, I knew we were going to get into this kind of moment we would dive into something too much. So, what I have here is I have 2 trailers that released in the past few weeks, because we've not done a trailer talk in a while.
Okay.
So,
well, there's still movies being made.
I think so, and unless I went through like some kind of wormhole and found something from the past that I didn't realise, we have got some films to talk about. So if we come over here, and there we go.
Oh, Ryan, are we going to watch RoboCop? Is that what they made that? I can't remember.
1 month ago, you played in Barstow, California for 40
Are you
people.
playing this?
I am, and it's not playing on Thingy. Oh no!
Yep. What have you done?
I did just press play. Oh no!
This is your play falling apart before it's even begun.
It's
Oh no!
Because if we second, let's see if I just go like this.
Better lose that nose, Chris.
Yep.
Oh, please do.
So to redeem yourself.
Right, here we go.
Played a concert in front of the entire world. 1 month ago.
It's not playing, Chris.
It's not working.
People, most of whom were there.
I have rethinking that a couple of times now, and it's just not working. I had the Bill and Ted trailer, something fun and light, and it looks bonkers, and I love it. So I don't know why it's not playing. It should be, but it's just went no.
Computer says no.
It really did. And I had Tenet was the other one, because whenever we chat about Christopher Nolan's new film, which I still have no idea what it's actually about.
Yeah, I mean, we can go back to Bill and Ted, because I mean, have you seen the trailer yourself, Michael?
No, I have not. Is it for the new one?
Yes.
Yep.
No.
So this is quite an interesting one, obviously, since Michael, you are the young bunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you ever see Bill and Ted growing up?
I not growing up. I went back and watched it a few months ago, I think, or about a year. Yeah.
Okay, so it's quite fresh in your mind then. So did you watch both Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey?
Haven't seen Bogus Journey. I've only seen Excellent Adventure.
Right.
I have this thing of going back and like watching films that people recommend from fucking 80s and 90s and films that I should have grown up with, but I just didn't. And I like being able to go back and look at it now, you know, with open eyes.
Yeah, I feel like if I watched Bill and Ted again right now, like the first one, I don't think it would actually stand up. I feel like it was probably a work of its time.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Bogus Journey does a better job because it's more self-aware in that regard.
Okay.
Have you seen them recently, Chris?
Not recently. I think it was. I think it must have been about 5 years ago. But I am just going to say no to everything you said. Bill and Ted's amazing, and shut up.
But like the first one plays out pretty much exactly like a kind of like educational cartoon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like there's only a couple of scenes that don't take themselves seriously, and they're mostly with like Rufus.
Ah, Rufus.
Yeah.
He did
See,
steal the
like,
show.
I think I remember watching it, and when it got to the end, I was like, that was all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's still sort of it's watchable now, but it's not like oh my god, it's
Yeah.
Whereas like Bogus Journey actually has like really good like memorable scenes in it, and it also has this kind of like horror element to it that's quite fucked up for like what is essentially very aimed at kids.
Yeah, because it's got death and stuff in it, and the kind of gaming with death and the
And then there's
duplicate
the
versions of them.
evil robot Uzzes
Yeah.
is what they're called. Evil robot Uzzes, and they're basically like they just don't give a fuck. They're here to destroy their lives and stuff like that. But they also have this thing where they don't care. They just like rip off their own skin whenever they feel like it.
Yeah.
Just go like, look, I'm a robot. You know, it's fucking creepy as a kid just to see these guys cut themselves open to be like, got wires in me.
So see what.
But the new one looks.
Yeah, do you know what? I think it looks fun, but I don't know what they've got to say because it just looks like it's going to be very by the books of
It looks like a reunion show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's what they're aiming for. Like, if they really want it to feel like burnt out, like intentionally.
Yeah.
But that's what it has the feeling of.
You could already tell how this is going to work. It's like 25 years ago, you're going to save the world, and you're like, right. So they're going to go through we don't know how to do it yet. We'll go talk to all these amazing people. You know, it's going to have like 8 tons of cameos that they talk to. They get them there, and then they'll have a big concert at the end where something will go wrong, but everything will work out, and they become, you know, the balance.
Most excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild Stallions, that's what they're called, isn't it? Yeah.
Wild Stallions, dude. Yeah, love it.
I know this seems like one of those films that it'll make its money, but like everyone will come out and say, "Oh, it was terrible," but like you went to see it though.
Yep.
See, I've got a funny feeling this is the thing with the Keanu Reeves resurgence in the last couple of years of like basically John Wick. If we're honest, John Wick. It meant that they've got funding for a film that should never have been made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It sounds fun, but it shouldn't be a thing. I'd have rather have seen him invest that into something different, like a new IP. Like he's obviously got other things he does because he loves martial arts stuff. So I'd love him to do another martial art film, even though.
So, a new IP man.
Oh.
That was bad.
I don't want a new Ip Man. Please no. The last one had Mike Tyson.
God, they made fucking too many Ip Mans as well.
The last one had.
The first one was the best one.
It was so
stop
good.
there.
Even the second one had its merits, but man, see when they started bringing things like Mike Tyson into it. Have you seen, right? Completely off topic, but have you seen Mike Tyson nowadays training to box again?
No.
If I could get the internet to work for us to watch, holy crap! Man, this guy's in his 50s, and my God, he moves like somebody in his 20s, and he would punch you, and your heart would come out your arm. Like
you know what? It's really funny. I've for no reason whatsoever, I have actually binged through the Hangover series. Like because Mike Tyson's in them, right? But like seeing him in that is so fucking odd. Like his body shape changes like over the course of the films as well. Like the first one he's kind of like you can see he's retired and pudgy and doesn't really care. The second one all of a sudden he's back to being jacked.
Yeah. And it's that thing of being an athlete, isn't it? Like you never truly lose it. Like it's just you lose the effort. And the minute you get your effort back, suddenly you're like, oh, you're a wank, I hate you. It's like, you're this like nearly 60-year-old man, and yet you can get into shape better than I can if I spend like 10 years on it.
Well, consider the likes of Chuck Norris. His career didn't start until he was 50, supposedly.
Wow.
That's
so like
insane.
Oh, so he was
absolutely.
50 in the Bruce Lee film?
Maybe not like, I think maybe his TV career.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Walker Texas Ranger type stuff. Yeah, like he was definitely not a big name in the Bruce Lee era, but like he was like there.
And the other one that I'm going to throw out there, because he will outlive us all, is Terry Crews.
isn't he like 60 or something?
He's
And
51.
51, and he's just looks like
I
30,
mean,
if
he
that.
ain't. He is not stopping.
No.
He's gonna keep. I think he's what created the world, and he might be its end.
It's him and The Rock just having an arm wrestle, and then
Oh.
worlds got created.
Yeah.
On the note,
Chris, stop trying to pitch your perfect movie here. Like,
One arm wrestle will decide the fate of the world.
I'm gonna go
oh,
do
God,
some
like,
writing.
right. No, I want to speak about The Rock for a couple of seconds, right? I
I'll go for it.
watched that Fast and Furious spin-off, like Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I waste a lot of time on shit movies, by the way. Just putting that out there. Right, this film is so fucking bad that it ends 3 times.
Wow.
Right, and like you'll love this, Chris. It finishes off with him going to like Samoa, right, to meet up with his family, and they all just like they're fighting against this like tech conglomeration that have like cybernetic body parts and can punch people into the sky.
I fucking knew
And
there was superhero stuff in this. I kept saying that to people. Like, I'm pretty sure Idris Elba is like a super
he's a
soldier
superhero. He
psychic
calls
thing.
himself Black Superman as well because he knows that that's what he is. Like it's amazing, but like so I guess this point where it's a fucking fist fight of all these topless Samoans with like bats and stuff like that, and you're like, what is going on in this film? And it's such a Chris moment, and I'm like, man, he would love this.
This is a funny thing. So you've been watching trash like that. This has been my viewings of this week. I watched Rush, which was a Chris Hemsworth film about the Formula One racing. Kind of interesting.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
the one that was like, I can't remember if that was the one that was like based sort of around the was it the lump?
No,
I
it
can't
wasn't.
remember the race
It
called
wasn't
anymore.
Le Mans. This one was based around 2 racers that had a rivalry from like Formula 3 through, and one of them got into a car crash and stuff.
Yeah, I was getting mixed up with the other one about
Is that Ford? That's Ford versus Ferrari.
Ferrari that had a different name over here.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. I just knew it was Ford.
Yeah.
Ford.
Was it just called Le Mans?
It might have been.
It was something like that, like whatever the year was. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it was
because
called.
that one has Christian Bale in it. It's one of the main
Yes,
actors. So I watched that. I watched Blade Runner 2049, and I watched The 13th, which was a documentary about slavery and the political state of America. So yes, I might be into all those big muscly men punching, but I actually watch very highbrow things.
Good for you. Like you're keeping up my trend that I should have been doing.
Yes, and then I watched Blade Runner: The Final Cut yesterday.
Oh yes, my favorite film of all time, pretty much.
Wow. Oh, that's something I don't think we've ever actually came out and said. So yours is Blade Runner. Michael, what's your favourite movie of all time? I think it's got to be Muppets. It's got to be a Muppets film, right?
Well, I actually remember saying it on the podcast where we discussed
we did
Did we?
do this.
But you know.
I don't remember this.
Mine was Empire Strikes Back.
Ah, right. Mine's is Arrival now. After.
No, not The Arrival with Charlie Sheen.
No.
God's sake, get it right one day.
I'll get it right when I can say the director's name right.
Yes. Oh, speaking of which, for tonight's project, obviously we had Alejandro. Anyone else want to field his last name?
Oh, it's
I'm stepping back for this one.
Inaritu, I think, isn't that? Yeah,
Yes,
Iñárritu. That's how you say it. It's
Iñárritu, yes. So because of the squiggly, it's a nya.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, look at him.
We'll just call him Alejandro Gonzalez because that's easier to say.
Sure.
Yeah. Man,
Awesome.
we couldn't pick better ones for this week.
Fuck, I know,
We're
right?
so bad at like understanding this shit.
I know.
So bad.
Yeah.
What was the other trailer you wanted to show us again?
Tenant. It was going to be Tenant. Christopher Nolan.
Tenet.
Tenant. Yes.
You know,
Tenant.
It's not Tenant. It's not the Tenant. He
Oh
doesn't,
my
like,
God.
Pay the bills.
I've been calling it Tenant this whole time.
Pint of Tenet, please.
I was like, man, this is a weird film about a pub. I still don't know what this is about.
Fuck knows, man. It's Christopher Nolan. He can do whatever the hell he likes, and Hollywood is just like, here's your money.
Yep.
yeah.
Which I don't.
Nobody, I don't think anyone will ever be up his ass as much as Watch Mojo, the YouTube channel.
Correct.
Top 10 anime betrayals. The Joker.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Interesting fact about Watch Mojo: it started as a Girls Gone Wild type of channel. I don't like Watch Mojo. I really don't. So I looked up on, like, how the hell did this channel come about? And somebody did their research into it, and it turned out the original videos of them was just, it wasn't like full nudity stuff, but it was basically spring break, whoa, everybody doing stuff. And then they decided to do top 10s for some reason and became ludicrously rich. And I hate them so much.
It's like, I only discovered like a week ago, was the, the pure trash TV channel TLC in America?
Yes.
Yeah.
That actually stands for the Learning Channel.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be an educational, like, kind of PBS style thing where they only put on documentaries about like important stuff, and then it became this fucking shit show.
Fucking Long Island Medium.
Holy
What the
shenanigans! What is
Has
life?
anyone has anyone ever watched Long Island Medium?
No.
Like, why would
No.
I? I'm not gonna put myself through this.
My mum watches that kind of shit, and I caught a glimpse of one episode, and it was so good. She got a guy over to her house to fit a new wardrobe, right? This guy turns up to do his job, and she's like, "You recently had someone pass away, haven't you?" Fuck, come on, let him do his job.
Sure. Define recently. Anywhere in the past 20 years, someone in your life has passed away. Yeah.
Does their name begin with a letter from the alphabet?
How did you? Oh my god!
Can we narrow it down a bit?
Did they have somewhere between 4 and 2 legs?
Yeah.
Oh, can we dedicate this? I was gonna say, can we dedicate this episode to Ian Holm, but I don't know if I want to do that.
Why?
Since we've talked about so much shit.
I mean, yeah, it's always difficult to kind of like match tones with certain things.
It
and
really
this
is.
Maybe not the place.
No, it's not.
Well,
We do have, we are good-spirited people, and we are,
Yeah.
above board, but we would never. I don't know. We're too. I've said the C word already this episode.
I did so good at not swearing
Well
too
done.
much.
Very good for you. You're reformed.
You did it. You did the thing.
I was saying that to Donna, like, for yesterday's recording, that I'm going to try and not swear as much. For some reason, the stream brings out swearing in me, and I don't swear very often in general, but for some reason, when I come on stream, the first thing it comes out my word begins with a C, ends in a T, and sounds like punt, and I don't know why.
Current.
Yes. It was a cunning stunt.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so I want to wrap things up with a little bit what's going on in the future for all of us, actually, because of the recent events of OBS and Twitch and Skype all being not working great for us. So we've decided to take The Simpsons and deep dives, and we're not doing them live anymore. Just, it's too many. The episodes are being lost completely because either the stream broke or the recording of it is trash because of some audio or visual thing where I can't even salvage it because it doesn't happen once every now and then. It's like sporadically through, and I'm just cutting out like an hour video down to like 15 minutes, not out of choice, but out of I am losing all of that dialogue. So,
Do you know, it'd be really great if like software out there could manage to do this thing where you could like run your webcam through 2 bits of software at the same time, so we could have a backup.
yeah, that'd be so good.
Wow, mind blown.
Well, we used to do this through Zencaster because it's one of the best for creating audio, right?
100%.
And what I found is Zencaster's got a waiting list now for their beta test of video on it. So I've signed up to the beta. I'm like
Game changer.
I am like 10,000 in the line, but I'm just going to invite everybody to it because if I invite people, I get bumped up the line.
Heck yeah, I'm up for that. That sounds great.
But if that works, I guarantee you'll have separate audio files and separate video files. So fingers crossed, that could be a future thing.
None of this Skype shite.
No, so for people that don't know what's kind of happening with this is how this has to work for us to do this. I need to do a group Skype call, which again messes with bandwidth quite severely because Skype wants to change resolutions in OBS when I take it over. To get it to OBS, I need a bit of software that's not meant to be used, really. It's a plug-in, which don't always work on the best of time, to make sure that it gets over. That means any part of that connection gets lost, we lose stuff. Then we have audio problems with suddenly everybody's microphone will come through one person's Skype.
How does that work?
How does
Who
that work?
fucking knows, but it does.
And then with like tonight, try to just get the websites to up to work and things like that, and get clips ready. Now what we can do is spend some time, put clips where we need them to be, have some bits of video playing over us talking when we talk about a specific moment in a film. It means that when the YouTube channel really kicks off, which is going to be July, with all our old stuff, everything we've done here, I'm putting up weekly through July. But from now on, deep dives and Simpsons will be put up probably once, maybe every 2 weeks or so. I give myself a bit of break, and Mark and Micheal to edit, because try to edit an hour video weekly is a lot of work for 3 people when it's 3 videos a week. So our schedule will be smaller, but our quality should be better. Which is
so. If you wanted a TLDR for that, it's we're doing quality over quantity. The end.
Yeah, because I will just talk about it, because it's burst me. It's actually burst
See, this
me.
is what the purpose of editing is to take
Well,
all
this
this shite that we waffle for 50 minutes and just go, gone.
Yes. I did that with Starship Troopers. We had such a big rant at the end of Starship Troopers that I was like, we stopped talking about the film at like 45 minutes, and
we were just like, down with fascism, you fucking pigs.
Yeah, we had that moment. I think it was for genuinely about 20 minutes. So it's like,
I think we should just cut it as a separate thing.
Yeah.
It's just our statement on fascism.
Fuck you, get out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Micheal, take us out.
Yes. Oh God, I zoned out for a minute. I didn't even realize we were done.
It's always a pleasure, and we're always the worst.
He did it.
So,
oh my god.
So is that us
Like-
then?
Ah, fuck it. Whatever ends.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.